Welcome to Short Scale Modelling. This is part 3 of AIrfix Heinkel HE111 H-6 scale to 172 build. It is the 40th anniversary Motorhead edition. In part 2, I put the fuselage together and done a bit of work on the interior. In part 3, I'm carrying on with that work and I'm going to be concentrating more on the front cockpit now, as well as the forward gun area. So let's jump into this and see how I get on. Right, to start off with, I'm having to just drill a couple of holes here. This is for the display stand. There's a pre-marked for the twin pinned AIrfix display stand, but obviously you can fit whatever stand that you require if indeed you're having a stand. So to paint the interior, I'm using Rebel Apple Colour 67 greenish grey, and this is the same colour I used for the inner parts of the fuselage in part 2. Moving on to building the cockpit and the front gun position. This is the footwell for the main cockpit. So there's a couple of little parts to go together here. The floor piece then has the central column to go on, and then the two foot plates have got to be attached to this part as well. Each part does have its own little location points, so it's not difficult at all. Each part of this little unit I'm making up fitted in perfectly. A little bit small, so I've used my tweezers quite a lot. Just try to zoom in there so you can get a better look at it. And while that's set, it's time to put place on the first under part of the carriage. The most important thing to remember here is when I'm building it, is line up the front first. Make sure those two curved parts marry up together, because this is where the canopy is going to go. So you want it to be 100% true. I'm using 302 silk black, and this is for the buttons and little switches on the position for the forward gun turret. They're just tiny little details I'm placing in here. For the pedals, it's Tamiya's XF56 metallic grey. Now, of course, this can be done in gunmetal or aluminium and then weathered down. Entirely up to you, but the metallic grey does just as well. And now to put the bottom half of the gun turret in its location. There's a little location point right at the back of the bulkhead. There's just a little slot it fits into. You will have to make sure that this goes in 100% straight. So I'm going on to the pilots and bombers now. And the first colour I'm using is 79 greyish blue. This is going to be for the main uniform colour. Now, generally I don't put the pilots and things in, but this occasion I just decided to do it. So for the next colour I'm using 35 flesh, and obviously this is for the face. I'm putting here. I'm using a small brush, but I'm not putting any major arcs in here because you won't be able to see them that much again. But it's just to show you a basic thing that I'm doing. You don't have to be a great painter to do this. As I said, you don't get to see that much detail once everything's actually inside the fuselage and cockpit. And it's 88 ochre brown, and this is for the safety harness that goes up around the pilot and gunners. I'm using 06 tar black, and this is for the boots as well as the respirators. And then it's 86 olive brown for the cap. And lastly, it's 90 silver, and this is just for the buckles to hold the harness. There's 3 of these figures to paint up. As I said, I'm not doing these in any great detail. I'm just putting in the block colours really. But once they're inside, they'll look okay. Onto the seats, and the cushions is 86 olive brown. So it's the same sort of colour that I was using for the pilots. And the rest of the seat is 67 greenish grey, and also for the surrounding areas for this colour. It's a fairly easy process to make these up. First of all, the main unit goes at the bottom of the seat. This also leads into the control stick. And when that's on, I'm just going to be checking for fit to make sure the pilot fits in okay, which it does. And now the pilot seat can go into the cockpit. Like with the gunner position seats, the location point is on the bulkhead that was put in part 1, and it should again just slide in there without too much problems. And after waiting for everything to dry, it's just a simple case of dropping in the figures now. Only 2 will go on at this stage. The third one is for the mid gunner position. And once I had the pilot in position, it was time to put in the control bars or the handlebars for the control stick. You can put this in before you put the pilot in, but why would you? It just makes it a little bit more difficult for yourself. Then of course I'm able then to put into the second figure. Next is to make up the undercarriage base. Now I'm actually having my wheels up, so there was no need for me to do this, but I thought I'd be sure getting built anyway. It only takes a few minutes to build. So while I'm building this, this is where I shall end part 3. In part 4 I'll carry on with the build, placing on the wings and so forth. So in the meantime, if you haven't already, why don't you check out the channel and see the rest of my builds, including the parts of this build. Subscribe to the channel, and if you hit that notification bell, you'll be notified of all my upcoming builds, including for this one. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to share the video. So thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.